is my Q&A for October 17th. I'm actually out with the family, so I'm going to take 20 or 30 minutes out to answer any questions that my constituency or our constituency will have. That's users of Veritaseum, stakeholders, token purchasers, or just people following. I will address very briefly. Thank you, Mr. Frosty. How you doing? I will address very briefly any questions that came from what I personally would consider fear, uncertainty, and doubt piece, a hit piece, a FUD piece that has been disguised as research. If you want to ask questions, please keep it professional. Please keep it factual. Okay, so this can move quickly. I don't have a lot of time because I'm a father guy. I'm a father type guy, and this is Sunday afternoon on what is beautiful October 22nd weather for New York. Okay, so let's get questions going. Nice to see you as well, John Andrews. Yes, what do you expect Veritaseum to be traded on the main exchanges? I have absolutely no idea. I don't control those exchanges. If they were going to trade, they would have traded already. Since they haven't, there's most likely, hold for 1 second, there's most likely an ulterior reason or motive that they haven't been traded. Not a big deal at all. Not a big deal at all. Cliff High, blackmail from parties unknown trying to get me to not speak about Very in the future. More serious FUD. Of course, I have noticed the FUD heavily. There are parties. I am pretty sure I know who they are, and I definitely know what their motivation are, that have a definitive interest in seeing Veritaseum fall to the wayside. You know, to each their own, okay? Our best defense is performance, and we're rocking and rolling, okay? Ask questions, and I'll give you examples of what I mean. But thank you very much, Cliff High, for being an upstanding dude and factually driven. Okay, you don't have to believe in us, you don't have to like us, but stick to the facts. Okay, if you stick to the facts, I think you'll really be appreciative of what we're doing. Let's get to some questions now. Any changes in the business model? Not in one. The business model is still going strong the way it is. I'm very proud of it. Will the utility of Veritas be based exclusively on Aveda, the staff, or both? You know, that question has been answered in detail in many other videos, so I want to answer all questions, but I don't think it's useful to continuously repeat the question. So take a look at the previous videos on utility value of the Veritas tokens and Veritaseum. Long story short, the Veda is one product, or one financial machine of many to come. Do you have an update on when you can make an official statement on Jamaica Stock Exchange? No, I don't. Be aware that the Jamaica Stock Exchange is a private entity, okay? Veritaseum is a private entity. We're attempting to enter into a business arrangement. It's a private business arrangement. Negotiations don't work like checking into work, where you check in at 9 a.m., you check out at 5 p.m., you have an 8-hour day. That's not the way things work. Think about the last business arrangement you have, or when you were buying a house. You don't know exactly what date the house will close on, despite the fact you two very motivated participants are buying and seller. Okay, so I could give approximations of what I think may happen, but A, it's an approximation, and B, it's what I think it may happen, and not necessarily what the other side thinks. And that doesn't mean any side is willing to pull out or not motivated. You know, this is business, okay? Business people know this. I don't have to explain it to everybody, but not everybody's an entrepreneur or, you know, involved in corporate negotiations, so that's why I take the time out to explain. Very disruptive. Any updates on the Jamaica Stock Exchange? I met with the management and the board, the chairman of the board of Jamaica Stock Exchange last week. Also at a very, very large exchange that hopefully I can rope into doing business with us. Can't mention it again because, again, this is private. And the reason why, I'm not being secretive, but when you're in negotiations with an entity and A, you discuss something that's not private, it's very impolite from a business perspective, and it will very likely destroy any potential of future relationships you have. You know, so basically you keep things that are secretive until each side, both sides, are ready to make them public. And if it doesn't go through, then I also did a no-no, okay? When is the platform going to be ready? As soon as possible, I can tell you that much. Again, you can't put a time stamp on this. You know, imagine if you got ill and someone asked, when are you going to get better? What date and time? It's not the way it works, okay? The platform is moving along. We should be ready for a security audit pretty soon. I'm not going to release it to the public without a security audit. What I may do is release it to the public with a very limited ability to put the assets in, so you are limited to the potential loss you can make. That may be coming soon. Okay, right now, the thing that is missing from the Veda product is the ability for the Veda to autonomously sell assets. We've already worked on the ability to autonomously purchase assets. Okay, one thing to be clear on the Veda is a peer-to-peer product, P2P. Okay, that means Peter deals directly with Paul. This entity deals directly with that entity. That being said, this is not what we're preparing for the Jamaica Stock Exchange deal. The Jamaica Stock Exchange is a one-to-many, many-to-one. It's basically a centralized, hub, very similar to the legacy business models of the New York Stock Exchange, LSE, etc. But they will deal in digital assets. The joint venture is proposed to be digital asset not only friendly but specific. Those digital assets will, of course, incorporate all assets: legacy, physical, commodities, cryptos, etc. Okay, but that is not what the Veda is. The Veda is an autonomous financial machine that buys other assets and exposes those who are part of the Veda to those assets. Okay, two distinct and very different products. And that being said, the Veda is not contingent or dependent upon the Jamaica Stock Exchange joint venture, and vice versa. Jamaica Stock Exchange joint venture is not dependent on the Veda. Two separate product lines, two separate potential revenue streams. Did you hire an assistant yet? Video quality is still, etc. Well, you see, my friend, we are not a video concern. We are a financial machine builder and consultant. So I'm pretty sure our financial machines and analysis are pretty good. Can you explain the circumstances where renting is better than purchasing? I can, but not now, and that would be contingent upon your individual situation and the situations in which you are renting or purchasing. So, sort of a difficult to answer question. Hey, while I'm on here, I see I want everybody to share this video. Please hit the share button now. And I would like everybody to like the video. Please hit the like button now. That way we get much more participation in the actual video. The more people here, the more questions, right? And the more information can be shared bilaterally. Instead of me just talking, we get more people asking questions. When will the platform be available for us to use? I've answered that already. We're working. The platform will most likely come on board a year before I said it would be in the pre-ICO videos. I try very hard to under-promise and over-deliver. Doesn't always happen that way, but when it does, it's a good feeling. Please detail how very... I had a question and I lost it. I'm sorry. There are a lot of questions. I'm going to try and get back to the one that I had. Okay, looks like, here we go. Please detail how Very will be used to purchase a theoretical $1 million distressed asset on the Jamaica Stock Exchange. How many Very will be required? Is it a percentage of the price? Okay, I explained that the Jamaica Stock Exchange and the Veda are two separate products. Okay, with the Jamaica Stock Exchange, the $1 million distressed asset, if it's on the Jamaica Stock Exchange, will have to be determined to be distressed by the purchaser of the actual asset. Okay, that level of analysis won't be available directly through the stock exchange. It will be available through Veritaseum, but not on a bespoke basis because we don't have that many resources in terms of analysts. That will be available through the Veda, but the Veda will be calling the shots on that as an autonomous entity. And the Veda will purchase distressed assets. The Veda will purchase cryptographic assets, financial assets, commodities, real assets like real estate. There is no limit. It will use the Veritaseum platform to tokenize assets that don't already exist on a blockchain. It will also veritize assets from other blockchains, so everything trades through the Veda on a single blockchain. Okay, all verifiable, okay, through the blockchain itself and or our partners. Give me 1 second, go through the questions. How receptive have prospective clients been? Very interested, okay? Very interested. There are some issues to work through. For instance, one client, who this is how we could tell they're very interested, roughly $23 billion in assets under management, told me that they want to include the expense of rewriting their investment charter if they do business with me. Something I didn't even think of. And very shrewd, may I add. That's one way of talking fees down, particularly since they're a big name brand and they have a lot of money. But they also have reservations in going the digital route. I actually have a very, very simple and straightforward solution to that to get things kick-started. I am not going to discuss it now. Yeah, I guess I may discuss it. I will have Veritaseum do the first few trades with either itself or with parties that we're very close to. So we could trade back and forth a variety of assets on, off blockchain, financial, digital, real, etc. Round trip, money is made, money is lost, etc. And since the assets will be traded between related parties, you don't have to worry about other snafus that we are going to have to work on at some time. For instance, regulatory jurisdictions, cross-border, etc. What London wants is very different from what New York may want, which is very different from what Paris may want, which is very different from Tokyo and Shanghai, etc. We'll go out next week and the platform be ready. Cliff, thanks. Thank you again. I second that and third that. Thank you for your objectivity, Cliff. How's everything going in Jamaica? Everything's going well. I was supposed to be in Jamaica coming back today. We sponsored fishing tournament, Marlin. I had a family emergency at the very last minute and I didn't get to go. I'm very sorry for the ultra high net worth guys in Jamaica that I didn't get to when I stood up. We were supposed to go fishing together. I will make it up to you. These things happen. My apologies. So hard to buy Very on Ether Delta. For some it may be. There are at least 3 or 4 other exchanges that carry Very. We really don't deal or own exchanges. We don't partner with them. They actually have nothing to do with us. But it is available. If you go to CoinMarketCap, you can see under markets, you can see other methods of getting it besides us. Will Ledger X derivatives market create issues for Very utility? I don't believe it will at all. I'm not intimately familiar with it, but I am familiar with what it was like in the very beginning, and I don't see any problems thus far. Any new additions to our team? No significant additions. I think the team has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6 technical guys, about split roughly half and half of financial and software, and we have 3 biz dev guys, well, not necessarily guys, 3 biz dev people who are very, very strong and powerful in what they do, which is how we're getting all the way up to the higher echelons when we go after potential clients. Okay, they're very secretive, so of course I can't mention their names, but it works. You can tell. Just look at who we're going after. Look at the pictures I'm taking, with little selfies. We're also looking to do business directly with the government of Jamaica, and that is looking very promising. Just looking to get the actual deal done. Working with governments, Jamaica or any other, doesn't happen overnight, but it's happening relatively quickly as compared to my previous experience with them, and that's because our biz dev guys and gals know what they're doing. Okay, my hat's off to you guys and gal, and I appreciate your value add to the corporation. Belgian man-made. Will there be a graphical user interface to purchase a preview Vader? Yes, there will. I'm a strong believer in GUIs because not everybody is a developer or engineer, and not everybody is that technically sophisticated. So the average person that can read and follow directions and push big buttons will be able to use the Vader. I just caught this part of your video, and I'm very new to hearing this. When you get the chance, will you please send me an email at Blackjair so I can learn more about this? I don't have time to send individuals emails to learn, but if you're curious, you can email us, MASIAH, that's Messiah, at Veritaseum.com or info@Veritaseum.com. News about the top 10 stock exchange. I'm working on it. Okay, deal not closed. be aware, if you deal with a multi-trillion-dollar entity, um, especially if you start over the summer when these multi-trillion-dollar financial entities are not even really working, it's not going to happen overnight. But I'm struggling. I was just up there a week ago, okay? And waiting for the answers next week of the questions that I posed or the offers that I made, and we'll see. Just saying, some people don't like doing money for scams. Yeah. When will you release the rest of the tokens? Well, it's not as if I never did not release the tokens. I put 51% up for sale in the initial offering, and what wasn't sold came back to reserve, and now we sell them to clients that will add to the value of the ecosystem. We only had 100 million. I think we sold, give or take, roughly about 2 million thus far. We have 98% to go, and we have the rest of the world to conquer. So, quite frankly, it's a good chance we may run out of tokens, initial tokens, before we get to everybody in the world. Using the recent fraud attacks on you and his porters as a gauge, very must be threatening the right people. Well, it appears to be threatening somebody, because these guys actually spent money and resources to go through this nonsense. Again, better ways to make money, but to each their own. When tokens are used for Veda, will Veritas be selling tokens back to the market to maintain liquidity? Obviously, when you discuss liquidity, remember, you're talking about software utility tokens. You're not talking about things like stocks and equities. When tokens are used for the Veda consumes them, right? And they return back to Veritaseum to be sold back to whoever would make use of them from utility basis again. That's how it should be thought of. Don't think in terms of markets and liquidity. Think of utility, value, and usage. HT hit BTC at the Delta Mercatox and one other radar, radar, something. Those are the four vehicles that have traded Veritas in the second market, if I'm not mistaken. Does Veri use offshore-based resources to produce research notes plus papers on assets? Yes, we do. I've been using them since 2007. I've been using the same guys actually since 2007. If you go through Boom Bust blog, I've had almost the same team from the very beginning. Just to give you an example, we predicted the fall of Bear Stearns, we predicted the fall of Lehman Brothers, GGP, almost all the big financials. We did Apple and Google, home runs. We had a hit list that's too far to go by. I'd say roughly about 97 calls, and about 75% of those calls were on point, hard hitting, extremely profitable. The Lehman Brothers and the Bear Stearns were crazy off the charts. So it's a new world, offshore, onshore, it's irrelevant. I go through different countries, different cultures, different languages like it's nothing. So I'll go from Brooklyn to Manhattan, from Manhattan to New Delhi, from New Delhi to Bangalore, Bangalore to Eastern Europe, right, to Poland, Ukraine, Korea. It's all the same to me. It's a new age. Is the Veda Beta app as shared in your Twitter link functionally operating the same as the Veda app shown to your GSA blog? I can't remember the GSA blog, but I remember what I did show the manager of the GSA. The JSE was how the Very Rentals work. The Very Rentals is a companion app to the Veda that assists people in getting, okay, my apologies, that assists entities and individuals in getting access to the Veda, okay, by using the key to get into the Veda. There's only one way to get into the Veda, that's using Veritas tokens. Veritas tokens are the key to access our financial machines, with the financial machine being the first of many, or at least several coming up. Reggie Veri has remained to this day in top 15 price tokens since launch. That's good. Hopefully that portends positive things. Would be ideal if you could sell Veri via local vendors, like this vendor in the Netherlands. Don't know anything about the local vendors. They have to be vetted, which takes resources. We're a startup. Keep that in mind. Resources are one thing that we don't have a lot of, so have to be very careful in deploying them. How can we help you, Reggie Middleton? Editorial content, help on website development, all of the above. I need all of that. Okay, reach out to me. info@veritaseum.com. CC Messiah, MASIAH @veritaseum.com. Can you tell us what you have learned from earlier crypto projects that helps Veri better? I've learned a few things. I have to think about them off the top of my head. But I definitely have learned. One thing is better to watch others make mistakes than to make them yourself. But whoever makes the mistakes, make sure you learn from them. That, any advice for crypto mining industry? Thanks. Don't have any specifically. I don't follow mining. We did come up with a hedging solution for the mining industry, but that was with the Bitcoin-based blockchain product, which we have shelved temporarily, which we are putting up to reconfigure off the Ethereum blockchain. So we have to put that entire thought process on hold until it's recrafted in Ethereum. That's coming after these initial financial machines, such as the Veda and the rental apps. When you say Verita is the key to accessing the Veda platform, what do you mean specifically? Such as will users pay a monthly subscription? No, it works just like Ethereum or Bitcoin. To access the Bitcoin blockchain, you need a Bitcoin. To access the Ethereum environment, you need Ether. To access the Veda, you'll need Veri. Cliff has this question above. Would be good to hear. Okay, I need to know what that question is. So if you can tell me, remember there's a lot of questions streaming. I'm using a 6.3-inch cell phone screen to go through them. So help me out if you can. What are your biggest concerns for Veritaseum going forward, 6 months and 1 year? Shifting, potential volatile regulatory landscape, getting access to quality talent quickly enough, and scaling, and probably the largest, battling the FUD that's available. And I don't mean that's the FUD in the crypto sphere. Our targets are not the cryptographic community or the crypto community. Our target market is institutional buy-side Wall Street. High net worth, ultra high net worth individuals, pension funds, family offices, hedge funds, basically people who go after large asset exposures. The clients of Goldman Sachs, of JP Morgan, and Morgan Stanley. Cliff High, talk about what motivates you to go through all this stuff around this. It sure is not money, that's for sure. You guys would be shocked to see how humble I live, so it's definitely not money. I actually want to make a change, right? I see inefficiencies. I see, and I've spent 1 or 2 videos doing this, a world where some of the most capable talent does not have access to the tools and the stuff that makes, the world rotate. Hence, you have nations that could be on top of the world fall to the race side. You have nations that are on top of the world, right, crumble, not so slowly, because those that have access to the levers of power don't have the meritorious stuff that they should have, that one would deserve to be in that position. So you have a crumbling of society in general. I believe in meritorious compensation. I mean even true merit. So the survival of the strongest, the survival of the most driven, not the survival of those with the most access. Okay, so I want to democratize access, right? Democratize ability to do things. Hence, those who are best at doing things, those who try the hardest, or those who succeed the most, and get access. That's basically what Veritaseum is about, the truth. I don't know if you talked about this already, but do you have any other clients that are as big as the Jamaica Stock Exchange that are interested in using Veri? Actually, almost all the institutions that are interested that we're talking to are significantly larger than the Jamaica Stock Exchange. What makes the Jamaica Stock Exchange different is they agreed to sign an MOU and that allowed me to discuss it in public. Okay, and because of that, I published the MOU, full transparency, and I discuss what's going on within reason. I'm not going to discuss secret conversations or private conversations. That's rude and disrespectful. It's also stupid from a business perspective. That's what makes the JSE different from all the other entities that we're talking to. And that doesn't mean a JSE deal is going to go through either. Nothing goes through until the wire settles. I've actually had deals where the wire settled and the deal still apparently somehow unraveled. So keep that in mind. Assign a team to build a nest and clean website. Not much effort needed. That is true. I've already done, but that effort does take from somewhere else. Remember, the website is much more important to the crypto community than it is to the community that we're dealing with. Our clients decide what we do. Our potential clients. Our potential clients, care very, very, very little about websites, right? They care a lot more about the duration risk of a potential fixed income product that we may propose to help them design than the website. Now, crypto guys are like, what? What's that? Okay, 2 different communities, 2 different potential groups of customers and clients. Keep that in mind. We work for our potential clients. We don't work for anything else. Okay? Mr. Doze, I love you. I love you back, man. 100 people forgot to like the video. Okay, that 100 people forgot to like the video, get to liking. Howdy from South Africa. We need your truth in Africa. I'm actually, a couple of people have approached me to do business in Africa. One is the general counselor of a very, very research-rich country. I won't go any further than that, but if things pan out, I'm going out there to do the same thing. The Veda, once going, is a very, very powerful product. Very powerful. Game changer. So powerful and flexible, most people don't even understand. Okay? And I will bring the Veda around the world if I have to. It will be launched, it will have reach in Jamaica and all over. Would you consider making a second ICO offering of our Veritaseum tokens? That shouldn't be necessary because the first ICO is, the results of the first ICO haven't been depleted as of yet. If you only sold roughly 2 million out of 100 million tokens, we have a lot of business to do, we have a lot of selling to do, a lot of clients to get. So one thing at a time, okay? I don't know if you talked about this already, but do you have any? Okay, I did answer that question. Can I say in detail how Verity will be using the JSC? The JSC will be a centralized stock exchange. I don't want to go into absolute detail as of yet. Again, that is a private transaction. Okay, you should better use your imagination if you understand the business, so it's not that difficult. They will buy and sell digital tokens. Okay, and the ability to buy and sell Veritaseum tokens means that you get to access a very, very wide variety of assets, potentially any asset, okay, or any asset with a data feed or potential data feed. Am I talking to any insurance companies or hedge funds yet? I've talked to several hedge funds, no insurance companies as of yet. Marcus Nordstrom, thanks Reggie, you have support from Sweden. Hey, hey. Tak. From Croatia, Darko Logomor, thank you very much, my friend. Which digital research areas will Veda focus on first in terms of interactive research? It's opportunistic research. So we don't go by asset, we don't go by industry, we go by opportunity. Basically, looking to buy something low and potentially sell something high, or if not so much sell, but gather. The Veda is not a trading vehicle, right? It's an exposure accumulation vehicle. So we're looking, or the Veda will be programmed, not we. The Veda is an autonomous entity. We'll be looking to purchase things for less than their worth and build value that way within the Veda itself. The techies are desperate for the details of the technical application beneath the greater merit business purpose. Hard to even understand that, but I understand. Veritaseum is not a techie-driven organization, so keep that in mind. We're solutions, heavily financial oriented. We have a strong tech staff, I believe, not large but strong, and they've taken a look at the stuff that we released. They've done a very good job. The interface is smooth, right? I believe it's intuitive, considering all it can do. Of course, there's a lot of work to be done on it. Check here, Reggie. Keep up the awesome work. We love you. Thank you very much, Katerina. Look at our international audience. I'm broadcasting right over the corner in Brooklyn. Do you have any people working for the project as freelancers, not very employees? Not necessarily freelancers. We do contract work, we do employees, but we take talent where we can find it. I'm in New York City, which is probably the second largest pool of technical talent in the world, with the Silicon Valley on the West Coast being the largest pool. And it is still not as easy as I would have thought it would be to get talent, which is why, or to get the type of talent that we want, and the terms that we want, which is why I take talent where I can find it. I'm an international man. I'm running an international company, so geopolitical and socioeconomic boundaries do not apply here. After hurricanes, is Puerto Rico interested in Veritaseum services? I know there are definitely people in Puerto Rico who are interested, and I will probably be making a trip out there in the next couple of weeks. Next few weeks, so you don't time my weeks, but relatively soon. Just tuning in, did I miss anything? Veri is an awesome project. Thank you, Spencer. How many Veri would it take to use the software to sell a car through Veri? That's something that we would have to take a look at. Okay, it depends on the car and everything else, but we can take a look at that. how our profits pay for the rental and the Very F platform. We will go through that in detail once the Very is ready to launch. There should be a relatively detailed document to walk you through it. There's a simplified help document there as well. I'm going to have to sign off soon. Let me take 2 or 3 more questions, okay? I don't think so. There'll be some more targeted. Beautiful day in Brooklyn. It's a beautiful day in New York today. Probably East Coast. Wonderful in DC as well. Just turned in. Good. Okay, it looks like we got a lot of questions. I tried to answer as many as I could. And again, before I sign off, everybody hit the like button. Everybody hit the share button. This will be online. I've been here for over 30 minutes. And I will try and do any other questions. I noticed that the authors of the FUD alleged research article didn't show up and identify themselves, which should speak volumes as to the quality of the research. Most of the stuff is either opinion or nonsense. Almost all of it was factually wrong. The problem is for me to answer something like that takes a lot of time. Someone decided to write 38 pages of that nonsense. I did release my analysts who were quite pissed off when they read it, so they addressed some of it. They couldn't answer all the questions because they only know that part of the company and for the period they've been on board. But I did post it in Slack, and I think someone in Slack reposted it to the Telegram, the chat room. The stuff about the patents, they didn't understand how patents work, and it's factually wrong. The stuff about the valuation, they don't understand how valuation works, apparently, and it was factually wrong. EBITDA was not used to value the company, that entity and the platform, and it was plain on its face. If you understand how the numbers work, you can see EBITDA wasn't used. So, very important to understand what it is you're talking about before you start speaking, and that way the messages don't get crossed. Okay? I have to go. I need to cater to my family. Okay? I love you guys, man. This is a super supportive community of super intelligent and super driven people. Loyal, peace. Keep up the good work. You support us, we'll make you proud. I promise. Absolutely promise. I'm excited. Okay, signing off. I see I had some Northern Europeans, so Hayda. Au revoir. Arrivederci and everything else. Peace.